All right, welcome to another series of Behind the Tool. This series is to show you how to actually use specific tools because I want to help my new tech VAs out there. And I've been in the digital marketing field since 2013, but you get to learn the secrets and shortcuts a lot faster than I did. So that's my purpose in creating this series. So today I'm going to show you how to set up Active Campaign. And if this is your first time on this channel, my name is Roxanne and I am the founder of Marketing Tech Mama. My mission with this YouTube channel is to help 100 moms be able to work from home by being a technical virtual assistant in digital marketing, right? Which is pretty much my story. All right, if you aren't familiar with Active Campaign, it's a very popular CRM that many entrepreneurs and business owners are using. Its interface is easy to use, plus it has powerful automation features, and the price is pretty reasonable as well. As a tech VA, you'll definitely come across this software in some shape or form in your career. I created a video that will show you how it was basically going to show you the principles of setting up the CRMs that will apply to any software. And if you haven't seen that, you can check it out here. But the principles that I discuss in the video are knowing to be able to how to send emails, knowing how to find the forms, knowing how to find tags, knowing how to find like sequences that's generally used for sending emails like automatically, being able to have how to be familiar with setting up automations. And again, it's not only just sending out emails and texts and how to find reports, right? You need to be able to find this information so you can share with your client how are the marketing efforts going. All right, so we're going to dive in and let me show you these components for Active Campaign. All right, so now what's the first thing that you need to be able to know how to do here is we're going to know how to send emails. So for Active Campaign, you go to the side here that says campaigns and you go to campaigns, right? And it's going to tell you, hey, let's send your first email. So this is a test account that I have used just so I can go ahead and show you how to use it, okay, just for uh, testing purposes only. So I'm just going to name the campaign, which is great. And this is an internal name. Like they said, only you will be able to see this. And you can decide how to do this. So you want to just have a standard, regular one-time email, right? That's like what you would call a broadcast. And a broadcast is usually, I'm just sending one email once and I'm done. And automate it, which is like, hey, based off of certain actions and conditions, right, this will automatically send certain emails, right? Auto responders are generally like once someone responds, like they opt in to a lead magnet, this is how this campaign type would be like, all right, we'll go ahead and send this, right? Automatically for you. The difference between this is you can use way more different things than just once someone subscribes. This one is just saying, hey, we know you probably just want to just if someone subscribes, so we're going to make this easier for you. This is like based on certain actions. If they do something, if they don't do something, send them here, send them that. It's a little more complex. And then split testing, you can do that right directly inside of here. RSS triggered is always like if you can connect an RSS feed, and a lot of times people want to use this like if their blog is released and they want to go ahead and automatically let their contacts know. That's where this trigger comes from. And then date based, right? If it's their birthdays, anniversaries, when they first subscribe, whatever it is, that's what date based is. So we're going to go with standard, and then I'm going to hit next. And then it's going to ask you for a list. So this is a brand new account. I don't have anything, so I'm just going to leave that here. But if you wanted to segment the list, you definitely can. So I just did segment of testing and it says add your first condition and you can create whatever conditions you want in order to send the emails to. Okay, so that's where this is for. So I'm going to hit cancel because I don't need that. So I'm going to hit next. Okay, so I'm going to do email designer because it's a lot better. And then they have all these templates, right? You can pick whatever template you want. And the good thing is don't feel overwhelmed. Just pick one because you can always change it and customize it. Okay, so I'm just going to hit this one. You can preview it too. Like, let me see how it's going to look like first if you want. But again, this is very easy. You can even just start from scratch. I'm going to select this one. Okay, and I'm just gonna put have a great holiday, just so it won't be like, hey. And you can always change this later, it's not a problem. Okay, so they're trying to say what's new. So since we did the template, right, its logo, I can come over here and I need to add the logo. You can also, if you want to know the URL of it, it will let you do it. Right here is this. You can, if I want the logo to link somewhere, I put it here. And alternate text is, sometimes not everybody has devices where the full HTML or pictures and stuff will come in. So it's just going to have other text instead. So I always recommend to just put something in there, even if it's the name of it. You can align it, right? I want it to left, right, center. You can also do the size. I want it smaller or bigger. You can make it responsive, right? Adjust to the width. You can do all this padding and customizations as well. Okay. And then you come here to blocks, right? If you want to add something like, hey, you know what? I want another spacer right here. Oh, it just added a spacer for me, right? I can do that as well. Or let me go back to the blocks, right? Image, text, button. Those are the standard videos, right? I want to put a video here and I have, okay, let me come over here and it's like, hey, what's the link to the video? What's the alternate text? You can add a custom thumbnail. Hey, we'll add the play button for you, or, if you want to, but they're like, hey, we need the link in order for us to do the play button and stuff first. But I think it's pretty cool that it allows you to do that. While you can't embed the video on there, they're just going to make it look, they're going to entice people to make it be like, oh, I can just hit play. And even though it's going to open up the actual link, right, it just looks like it's the actual video on there. You can do your social media as well. If you want to add a banner, you can as well. If you want to add a countdown timer, right? If you want to add a menu, HTML and RSS, you can definitely do that as well. So as you can see, this is like the text feature. It's back. Just for a limited time only, right? When it comes to the text feature, you just um, click it and just open, and you can change all the format options and stuff are up here as well, and all of the personalization tags, that's what active campaign calls it. So if you want to say hi, full name, that's the tags you would use. They even have some emojis that you can use, which is nice that they have it in here, because a lot of times, I know I'm familiar with having to find sites to find emojis that you can use that can go with a particular email. So it's just nice that Active Campaign already has that in there, and it's just a lot easier. So again, you can add images here and buttons, and you can add the socials, and you can do all of that as well. All right, so now we're just going to do next because it's pretty much getting in here and changing things. So this is the subject. And again, you can always change it at any time. I hit edit and then it's going to pop up and tell me, hey, change it here. I can have the pre-header text here. I can also have like the name, the from name, right? And then here's actual email address that I'm going to use. But let's say I want to do another different reply to email, I definitely can, right? So if I want people to respond, anybody that is, even though it's going to say it's from this, when they reply, it's going to go to this email box. Okay. It also says automatically generate a text version, which is you want, because again, not everybody has devices where they can see the full HTML. You can test the campaign here, and then obviously when it says a spam check and it's passed, that's great. So then you can hit save. So I'm going to go next because then it's kind of the summary and send are going to be similar. Okay, like my domain has to be verified, right? I don't have that yet. Right, recipient count, they're like, you need people in here, and other stuff that I have to set up. Again, this is just a fake test account. This is not an active account that I'm using. So I would definitely leave these on, like the open red tracking, the link tracking. If you want to connect Google Analytics to it, you can. Reply tracking is just when they reply to your email. So if you can do that, you can go ahead and add that. If you have a timer as to when you want to send it, so I'll just put a specific date, like hey, I want to send it on January 11th. The thing with Active Campaign is they work on military time, right? So 1403 is 203 in Chicago time, right? So if I hit on and then I hit save and exit, it's probably not going to let me send, which is fine. But if I want to schedule it, that's how I will schedule it. You can also do the email client preview, like just to see how it's going to look like, or the desktop, or how is this email going to look like. Again, I don't have a lot of stuff in here. So that's it for the email component as far as how to be able to send that. So now what I'm going to show you is the forms. We're going to move on to that one. So let me go ahead and pull that up. So forms on Active Campaign is you're going to come down here to where it says website. And then the first thing on the tops are forms, right? So it's like, hey, here's a form. Okay, they're just trying to show you, right? They give you a little video tutorial, which is cool. You go create a form. I'm just going to do test, right? Subscribe to the list. I can add another action. If I like, hey, I want to add a tag and I'll put test tag on it. It's going to let you know, hey, this is the tag that you can add. Oop. So now it's building it because again, this is just a first form. So then again, if it's text, it's like, hey, subscribe for email updates. You can put whatever you want. If you want to add a description, you definitely should, especially if people are going to see this. You can have this be full name or first name if you want. And you can make sure whether it's required or not. And email right here, again, email is always the default. And then this is the submit button, but we can change the label to be whatever you want it to be. And then it says, hey, marketing by active campaign. If this was, though, a paid real account, that would not be there. Okay, so again, you can add different features, right? HTML codes. It's kind of the same list selector. If I want people to use this form to subscribe to a particular list, they want to subscribe or unsubscribe. Like sometimes you can have forms and you're telling people, hey, if you just don't want to hear a particular thing, you can just unsubscribe from that, and that's fine. So then we're going to go to styles. And again, this is just how does it look like, right? Do I want to change how the button looks like? Do I want to change the color of the background and the borders? Then options is, hey, do you want to show a thank you sign or open a URL, right? If you have a show thank you, you can customize this message, say whatever you want it to say. Again, it's like what list? I only have one list, so that's the only list that people are going to go in. And then an opt-in confirmation. So if you have this turned on, that means when people subscribe to the list, they're going to get a separate confirmation from Active Campaign that's like, hey, you said you want to hear from this person. I need you to confirm that. If you have it on, you can write preview and edit how it's going to look like. This is the basic what they have here, but you can also edit it and customize it as well. Okay, so now that we showed you that, oh, and integrated, let me do that as well. So integrated is here's the we want to embed it, right? There's a link, here's a link for it. If you want to put it on WordPress, you can, which there's a plugin, but honestly, I would just embed it. Probably embed it is going to be the most popular one that you use. A lot of times you're going to take a form and you're going to embed it on a funnel page anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to save and exit, and now we're going to move back over to the tags. So in tags, you're going to go to contacts in here, and then you're going to go down to manage and tags, right? And right now I don't have any tags created, but if you want to create them, you go here and that does one test, and I'll just do testing and we'll add the tags. And now we have two tags here. Okay. And the thing that I like about this too is they're going to tell you, hey, how many contacts have this tag and how many automations are attributed to this tag, which is really good and interesting as well. All right, so now we're going to do the what most people use like a CRM and stuff for, which are the automations. In my list, like I said, is sequences and automations, and in Active Campaign, they're both the same thing, right? They have here, like they give you an interactive demo, which is really nice, so you can see how to use it. They give you a couple of templates that you can use as well if you want to, or you can just kind of create one from scratch. So for this one, I will just do the consultation call setup and we'll just do that. We'll do that as a test to see what functionalities are they going to start up with. I'm just going to do start from scratch because it's just going to be easier for me to show you than it is for me trying to use these recipes. And they're like, because they really want to get you set up. Okay. So that's totally cool. So the first thing is obviously what's the trigger? What is going to trigger it? An active campaign has a lot of choices. If they subscribe to a list, unsubscribe from a list, a form, read an email, right? A web page visited. If they share an email, forward it. Like there's just lots of capabilities. A goal is achieved, field changes, date based. Like there's just a lot of things that you can put on here. Okay. So you definitely want to have a trigger that you can use. So for the purposes of this, I'm just going to do subscribes to a list because that's really a popular one that you're going to use a lot. So now that this is an action is like, okay, do I want to send a message? Do I want to send a site message? a text message, a notification email that's just kind of more for certain users that are like, hey, I want to let you know so and so happened. Like an example of this is I've had a client that's like, hey, when we have people that are applying to join our mastermind, I want to be notified, right? I want these people to be notified and to have their application questions with them. Okay. This says send a transactional email. You have to use postmark with it, or you can send another email from here. But if you're going to do the email, I would prefer this one. Then there's conditions and workflows, which is, hey, do I want to wait for a certain time or until conditions are met? I want to do like, hey, if this is happening, then do this. I can split them. I can pick another action. I can have a goal that's like, hey, if they achieve this goal, then they can stop receiving the rest of these emails. They can also start another automation, or they can end this current automation or end another one. Okay, that's a webhook, and the perform math are a little more advanced. I would say pretty much all of these up here are pretty straightforward to use. Also, you can add, hey, a contact will then subscribe to this list, unsubscribe. It will convert, right? It can trigger a conversion if you set that up. It will update a contact. It can add a tag. It can remove a tag, can add a note. It can be added to Facebook custom audience, right? Especially if you're using custom audiences often, a lot of times your CRM is the best place to start for a custom audience. So Active Campaign will add them to Facebook custom audience for you, or they'll remove them. Okay. The CRM piece, it's kind of like if you want to add a deal, it's more like an opportunity. Honestly, if you have the opportunity set up, that's kind of what this part is. And it's a little more of a bit of the advanced version. So the ones that probably I use the most and I see get used a lot is send an email, send a text, wait for certain things, start automations, end it, have a goal, and if else. Those are the things that you see the most. So now when it comes to reports, that's the final item on my list. It's saying, right, there's nothing to choose from. But if I have campaign reports, it's going to show me the campaign reports. And also another thing with active campaign is there's a little extra menu that says, right, show navigation or hide navigation. So even though this is the main one, each of these have their own little sub one. So this report is for campaigns. This report is for automations like, hey, I want to see how all of my automations are doing. Okay, or I want to see a certain specific ones. Again, I don't have it, so it's not going to have data to show. But then it's like, okay, this is all the contacts. I want to, what are trends for my contacts? What's happening? Again, I don't have it, so there's not a lot of information, but at least you get to see that, right? Again, the campaigns, which are emails you can send individually. How I want to see what's the trend. I want to know the performance. I can even see email client trends, which is how are my deliverability and open and clicks for people who have Yahoo versus people who have Hotmail. Okay. Also too, for the website form performances, I want to see how my forms doing, how many contacts are coming in, what's my conversion rates for my forms, right? You can have the dates and it'll show you this here. Okay, so we did the emails, the forms, and the tags. Like I said, there's not necessarily a report for tags, but if you go to contacts and you go to tags itself, this is more of the reports. It's going to show you how many contacts are associated with this, how many automations are a part of it as well. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this content, you want to see more content like this, be sure to like and subscribe on my channel so you can be notified when new content is released, as I release a new video every week. And I also write about how it is being a technical virtual assistant on my blog at marketingtechmama.com/blog. I hope you enjoy this. Until next time.